with donation deck lists on an indefinite pause, the number one way you can get me to play your deck list is to do well in an event. Okay, welcome back, Vintage Gamers, off-stream Tuesday recording. I tried to fire the Vintage Throwdown on the Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I feel like that has to be the most acceptable time for Americans. Of the two that we're given one on Monday at 8 p.m. and one on Wednesday at 9 p.m. And the 9 p.m. is nice because, you know, the 6 p.m. West Coast people can get out of work and maybe get there in time, but it's too late really for the East Coast players. And go the other way, 8 p.m. is still pretty late for the East Coast players, and then it's almost impossible for anyone going out of work on the West Coast. So we're definitely struggling a little bit with our times here in terms of trying to fire those throwdowns. So that means I need to get a video out for you guys on Wednesday, and this is going to be a nice off-stream recording of a very sweet and powerful brew. Over in Tokyo, Nico went top 4 with this Painter Stompy hybrid deck. Nico is definitely very famous for posting very interesting builds of Painter. We've played a few on this channel before, including one with tons and tons of modular face cards. But this one is something that we have not actually tried yet, and it's very, it's an interesting idea. I have concerns off the bat, but the good thing is we are definitely meeting a benchmark for power level. So we do have Painter's Servant Grindstone, the combination gaming where you name a color and then mill over their entire deck because all the cards are the same color. We have full Moxen plus Mana Crypt and Soul Ring plus Simian Spirit Guide to power that out. We do have the Force of Will Light combination here of Simian Spirit Guide Pyroblast. So we technically do have some non-blue turn 0 interaction, which is something I can appreciate. I really like when these non-blue decks make an effort to put in interaction to help them, survive long enough to do what they're trying to do. That being said, will it be enough interaction? We'll have to see. We have a Braid as well in terms of interaction, and Broadside Bombardier is the very powerful Stompy menace, hasting, boasting, throwing creatures and artifacts for tons of damage. We're pairing that up here with Scrawling Crawler. It's a very interesting one to me. We'll be drawing a bunch more cards, but this is a nice little hedge against Jewel, which I assume is not a very good matchup. You're seeing a lot of random Mishra's Workshop, which we are a Mishra's Workshop deck, playing the Scrawling Crawler. It's just, the classic 3 mana on turn 1. It does a lot of things, and it seems to be one of the more powerful threats you can deploy off of Mishra's Workshop. Talking about powerful threats you can deploy off Mishra's Workshop, we have the One Ring, drawing a bajillion million cards, drawing Force of Wills, very powerful, makes a lot of sense here. One card that I'm not sure makes a lot of sense to me right now, but we'll try to figure out the vision as we go, is there some Stonecoil Serpents. Maybe this is for Frog, but there are 4 Pyroblasts in the deck, so I'm not sure how much of a problem Frog really is, but this is a X-scaling threat. Has some nice text in terms of reach, trample, protection for multicolor. So we'll have to see how the Stonecoil Serpent plays into all of this. And then we have Karn, Chalice, Bauble, restricted 8 pieces, and then a very ambitious blue power splash with Time Walk, Ancestral off of Volk, triple red fetch. I guess you also have, Sapphire and Lotus. So I do think that this power splash is ambitious, but it is also something that I really like in these kind of non-blue decks. I think that you should add some inherent variance in your mana base to unlock more powerful draws. So honestly, of all the Nico Painter lists I've seen in the past 7 years, this is one I kind of vibe with. I think I like how he has approached this deck building construction. I certainly like the risks he's taken in terms of power, and also the being able to squeeze in interaction. Sideboard, we've got more Red Blasts, Braids, and Furies. Cages makes sense. Cages and traps are dredge hate. And then triple mind break trap makes sense because our deck is going to be pretty weak against that all-in kind of combo stuff. We have a lot of anti-shops cards, which maybe is, representative of the Japanese metagame, paper metagame. Or maybe it will line up well into what we see on MTGO. One thing I'm not 100% sure on is maybe Mono White Initiative. I don't know how much Mono White Initiative is played in Japanese paper Magic, but this looks a little dicey against Mono White Initiative. But maybe Broadside Bombardiers and Pyroblast with Painter Servant on blue. Maybe that's enough. I don't want to make too many pre-video judgments because these are kind of things that I don't have a lot of information on. So we'll see as we play this Vintage League. The legendary NYSE Open returns to Long Island in New York. This 9th installment will be a 15 proxy, $500 entry fee tournament where the top 8 will return home with 8 pieces of real unlimited power. Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxens will be part of this celebration of vintage. At 100 players, there'll be an additional wacky draft with classic booster packs from Ice Age to Onslaught, the NYC trophy, Karn altars, $1,000 in giveaways, dealers, and much, much more. Check out the link below for all the details. I hope to see you there. Let's battle. Okay, round 1, we have the very powerful no prompts across the table. I'm not going to play against no prompts too much anymore just because of time zones. So this should be interesting. I have an opening hand with lots of mana, but no real path forward. Looks like a clear mulligan. And then I have an opening hand with a turn 1 crawler ring stuff. So we'll give that a go. No Lurrus from my opponent's side of the table. Definitely lead on jet here. Don't want to show anything. And then we'll slam a crawler. This is the kind of hand that I find to be dubious, and also why I feel like Raker Shops can be pretty dubious at times. This hand does not interact, and it also gives my opponent cards, and it doesn't really have a clear path to victory in the near term. So, yeah, I'm pretty worried, If this ends up being Jewel, this card is extremely good against Jewel. We'll see. It's hard for them to answer it. They have to find some perfect things. This might be a Beseech Storm, though. This is a Tinker for a Citadel. Just a PO for 3. Well, yep. I mean, this is exactly what I was worried about. This is what happens when you don't play Force of Will. But we do have things like Simian Spirit Guide, Pyroblast, so it's not like, say some of those were Force of Will, it's not like we would have had Force of Wills in our hand anyways. I guess the little bright light here is that, technically speaking, Crawler is hurting my opponent when PO is happening. Crawler, like Bowmaster, is not really a hard counter to PO. The PO decks can play through both of those cards fairly easily. Though Tinkering for a Citadel is quite good. So yeah, people like, Scrawling Crawler and Bowmaster, those cards are so good against PO. In general, not really. They're okay. They definitely present problems and pose questions, but the questions are not hard to answer. Whereas in the Jewel deck, they can end up being a little bit hard to answer. That being said, I believe we are dead. The good news is we did not show our opponent any of our Pyroblast stuff, which means they will not expect Pyroblast stuff come game two, just the game 2, which means maybe we can catch them by surprise. They're going to try maybe boarding for Raker Shops. They passed the turn. Interesting. Mana Crypt. All right. I need to start my opponent's life total. I think this means that we are going to give away that we are, in fact, not Raker Shops. I'm going to bait with the Crawler and then slam the Broadside Bombardier and try to get in for as much damage as possible to put my opponent in a hard spot. It's possible that the Broadside Bombardier represents a better force target, but I'm just pretty worried that the Crawler isn't enough, and I think the Broadside Bombardier might represent more damage. It's not clear to me if that's an actually true statement, but Because it's going to be 4 damage. Now they know what's going on, though. So they got that problem. I don't think I'm throwing the crawler. 9. And then we'll definitely throw a jet at them. 7. All right. I could do 3 more damage by throwing the crawler, but I think the crawler is better. So let's see if my opponent can combo off here with 6 life and a Citadel. It might not be possible. We'll have to see. Time Vault Key is obviously one that would be problematic. I think the chance of winning is high enough where it's worth giving away the information. Because my opponent is at a low life total here. It's not a... This is the kind of spot where Scrawling Crawler will really shine. Like even if they go for Time Vault Key here, if they don't deal with Scrawling Crawler, that does beat Time Vault Key if you don't have an answer. So 4 cards in hand, has an Academy, basically infinite mana. Only 3 life to work with, though. Yeah. Odawara, interesting. That is the worst thing that could have... Odawara Transmute. Okay, so like a heavy blue Jewel-esque thing. All right, I actually think that I might have been wrong. Maybe I was incorrect here, and I should have led with Broadside Bombardiers as my force of will bait, and then tried to jam a crawler. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. Well, the jig is up. They probably know what we're up to. The good news is our things are pretty straightforward here with a braids and traps. Probably not Hercules and Cage. But the Stonecoil Serpents look awful to me in this matchup. And then I feel like I want to take out a mountain. Feel like we have a lot of mana anyways. And then I do think the Broadside Bombardiers are actually probably the worst. Like, just putting in these threats, are the Broadside Bombardiers better than a ring? Probably not. I feel like we just want to get more, like, these attackers that don't do anything other than attack. I feel like that's not what we want to be doing. Let's try this. So yeah, I guess when you, like, get to that, you know, spot, maybe it made perfect sense to actually play the second crawler, or use the... I mean, there's no saying that my opponent would have forced Broadside Bombardier, right? Because it clearly didn't represent anything broken. But maybe we could have snuck a second crawler in, and maybe that would have been enough. It's hard to say, though, because 4 damage is a lot. It's 2 additional draws of crawler. All right, we do have a mental misstep this time to provide a little bit of a roadblock. We need to find... Definitely, that's a hell of a mental misstep. They might even force. All right, we get to draw a card. They get to draw a card. We draw the Ancestral. Maybe we'll draw Volk. That's a Painter Servant. This is 1 mana, 2 mana, 6 mana. We're actually 1 mana short. It's not great. Maybe I can get a force out of it. This is a worry I had, though. Our mana in this deck looks wee bit sus. But yeah. I don't know. You could chuck a... I mean, if we were to ever win that game one, it would have been very seldom, because the opponent did resolve a Tinker. A TPO for a 3 on turn 1 into a Tinker for a Citadel. I think there was a probability, though, that we may have been able to win with a little bit of a sequence change. But I am very worried about my current situation. But maybe this Scrawly Crawly draws us out of it. Though it also draws my opponent out of it, so hard to say. Yeah. Well, we have 3 more painters, but we actually don't have a third non-Mishra's mana either. I'm pretty scared, but we are clocking fast. That is one of the big points for Scrawling Crawler. It's doing a lot of damage. Mishra's Workshop does not help us cast any of our spells, and Moxjet does not help us cast any of our spells. Yeah. Yeah. Even with drawing an extra card every turn, our deck is still not hitting the mana it needs. That is unfortunate. Because I do feel that if we had hit a red source, we actually are in a very favorable position, being able to counter an opponent's spell and have a very good clock. So a red source here would have actually been really good. How many are there? 1, 2. I got the mountain, so maybe it's my fault. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 7. Yeah. Oh, no, there's a spirit guide. It's 11. Okay, I mean, there are some red sources for sure. I guess I forgot about the spirit guides. Those definitely change the equation. Ancient Tomb, huh? Grim Monolith. The One Ring. Okay. I'm going to mill them in response. I don't know why. Maybe I'll hit an important card. All right. So that saves them 3. They still lose life. We drew one of our spirit guides. And an Abrade. All right. Well, not a permanent red source, but take that. They're still in a very tough spot here. The Scrawling Crawler has been quite good. Bam. Simian Spirit Guide Pyroblast. You're into the Flood Maw. This needs to resolve, though. Good sign. Nice. All right. That puts us in a great little spot here. I'm just going to mill them again. And then F6. Ooh, I hit Stock Up Tolarian. Okay. I mean, this is an absolute clinic by the Scrawling Crawler. And also, and just reinforces the maybe terrible sequencing I chose in game 1. I don't know why. Maybe I guess I didn't really understand exactly what my opponent was doing. Can't use this Ancient Tomb because they're at 2. But it is like a Tony Scapone style jewel deck, it looks like. You're going to die to this One Ring. I can't use this Ancient Tomb, so it still looks pretty good for us. We did draw 3 spells this game, which we were not able to cast, and we still won, so hell of a sequence. Does Hercules make sense? I feel like it doesn't. Also, I feel like we can't cast it. Let's just maybe I put this mountain back out and I take out a Ancient Tomb. That doesn't sound right. It does not sound right. I feel like I need all the red sources I can get, though. I feel like I want to keep my baubles and and chalices and stuff. Maybe I will just take out a One Ring. It's good with a... I'm taking out an Ancient Tomb. I just want to trim a land, but I don't really want to trim a red source anymore. All right, we've got Force of Will, red Force of Will, and we are turn 2 ring. If we draw the Ancient Tomb that we sideboarded, Justin, we would have turn 1 ring. I didn't sideboard that out for any of these cards, so we're fine. We're fine. See, like, that's the downside. When you do draw your red sources, they don't make extra mana. Not a lot. No, losing out on the synergy aspects of life here, but no props on him. To 6 at the moment. All right, 6 card, no props hand. Saga Gaming. Ring should be good against Saga Gaming. All right, no mental misstep this time. Mental misstep was crucial in that last game. All right, another red source. This means we don't have to use our spirit guide. So like here's a question. I can spirit guide out a 1 ring on turn 1 here. What is the chance I die with this pyroblast sitting in my hand and I can't cast it? I feel like it's worth it, right? Could always draw another spirit guide, right? All right, we did not draw another spirit guide. We also did not draw a mind break trap. A mind break trap would have made me happy too. I think this play is worth it. Like, is it worth it, Justin? I guess it was. All right. Sure. Vexing Bauble. All right. I'm gonna go Vexing Bauble, and then I'm gonna abrade. I guess abrading the Manifold doesn't actually help me. So I guess I can just pass. Abrading the Manifold does not really help me. I might abrade it on their upkeep though. Just so they don't have 3 extra mana this turn. Like, yeah, they'll make an artifact or whatever, but like we have a 1 ring. We should never lose to construct here. And this still lets me hold up Pyroblast, Mental Misstep. I'd have to use the Lotus, but we have this Vexing Bauble as well. I kind of like this play. Did not even want to make the construct. Wants the mana. So we just got rid of 3 mana for 1 spell. Not bad. And we have counters. I mean, this was basically perfect. Our deck did exactly what we wanted. We drew extra mana to play the 1 ring on turn 1. And now we just have a billion interactive spells. This looks good. Okay. All right, Nico. I see you. Just the plan has to come together. Sometimes it might not come together. Or, I mean, like, maybe this is a 3-0, like I said, and that one sequencing issue in game 1, maybe we could have won that game. I don't think so. I feel like no props would have just not countered the broadside bombardier, but it doesn't mean that our play was good. Oh no. Oh no. Surely I don't get time vaulted from here. Oh wow. I'm gonna have to draw another abrade. Or I could draw a Painter Servant. The good news is the Vexing Bauble is protecting us a bit. Am I cracking my Vexing Bauble here? I feel like I am. I have counter spells. I need to draw as many cards as possible. I need to draw a Painter Servant or an Abrade. I guess Scrawly Crawly is something. Wow, none of this is what we wanted. All right, I think I'm going to play a new ring and try to draw 1 more card. I drew nothing. I'm going to lose this game. Or maybe Scrawly Crawly is enough here. Oh, wow. That's so crazy. So I definitely did not have to die to this if I had just held my Abrade. Damn. Was I supposed to hold my Abrade, though? They have Academy? Oh, no. I have 3 pieces of interaction, 16 turn clock. Seems unlikely, but I think we should play it out. YouTube comments will be so mad at me if I didn't play it out, so. I don't know. Like, I feel like the logic behind abrading there is pretty good. But it is weak to exactly having Time Vault in hand. And my other counter spells weren't good. But like the number of things I have in my deck that are gonna beat the second Time Vault are still really high, right? Like I still have another 2 Abrades, and I have any Painter Servant does it. Karn does it. I mean, it's not that high. But like I have answers. All right. I mean, my opponent has a lot of action here, it seems. Damn, because they didn't have any land drops, and then they hit multiple land drops, right? Because they played Saga. I'm not sure. I don't know. Obviously, you know, when you die to the Vault Key here, it does make my play look bad. But that doesn't actually mean that the play was bad. But I'm not. It could be. It absolutely still could be. 1 ring. Sure. Yeah, this does not look like a 1 Scrawly is enough. Drew too many lands. Should have cut the Ancient Tomb. Wait, did I cut the Ancient Tomb? No, I did still cut the Ancient Tomb. I don't know. Sad, but I mean, with a Vexing Bauble and Pyroblast and a Braid, I probably am not supposed to abrade the Mana Vault just because I'm not dying to any spells, right? So if I let my opponent go all in on Vault Key, I still get to abrade the Vault Key. Like, yeah. I feel like it was just a mistake. I mean, it's not a bad play because it like turns off a lot of what my opponent's trying to do, right? Especially because they were down on mana. But the fact that they could have a way to win, and then I feel like they don't have any ways to win if I had gone the other way. Yeah. That's not a good sign. Portal to Phyrexia. All right. I've been bested. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I do feel like it might have been a misplay, but let me know. You can tell me I'm bad in the comments. You'll do it anyways. All right, let's give it another go. I was thinking a little bit more about the Gat Game 3 and like the Abrade. And I think the Abrade makes a lot of sense if I'm trying to prevent my opponent from playing a 1 ring. Right? That's probably the most important card that I can't counter that they can use Mana Vault mana for. And there are more 1 rings, but I think we're beating a 1 ring pretty easily. And really, the only thing we're losing to is a Vault Key that we can't answer. And of course, we could answer it, but we would have to draw the answer, right? And so, you know, we're drawing 5 cards, and there's always a chance you miss in 5 cards, which we did. So I think it's really opening up a loss possibility on a pretty much locked up game. And so it makes a lot of sense to just hold the Abrade there to prevent that loss opportunity. That's something I swear that will only ever happen here on my stream, where we get punished so hard for something that seems like it makes a lot of sense. But that's how you learn. I think it's always better for the bad play to get punished so that you can understand what you did and why it was incorrect. Than if, you know, my opponent just gets abraded and concedes, then I never know anything, right? So, I don't think I can ever really keep this hand in the blind. Doesn't really do anything. Not a very vintage power level hand. This, on the other hand, is a very vintage power level hand. I like this hand. I think I'm going to bottom the Broadside Bombardier, and I'm just going to go with Lotus Blue Crawler. and see where that or sorry, Lotus Blue Ancestral and see where that leads us. And then I can play a One Ring after if I wanted to. Like if this gets count force, then we play a One Ring. Got Force of Willed. Okay. Oh, I always activate in response, but I guess we've already used our Ancestral, so there's not a huge reason to. All right, a very powerful vintage turn 1. See what we can do with it. All right. So this was a preordain, a dig through time, and a top bottom. Doomsday, maybe? We're gonna need to draw some mana, and we did draw exactly the mana we're looking for here. Definitely putting a Scrawly Crawly in play. Feels like that makes by far the most sense against what my opponent is doing. But again, we have no interaction. All we have is powerful cards, and sometimes that will work. But if my opponent just goes for a Doomsday here, I'm pretty sure we die. So they drew, took damage from Crawly, cast Probe, took damage from Probe, took damage from Probe, drawing a card from Crawly. My opponent is on a clock, for what it's worth. Like, a One Ring drawing its 6th card is definitely not good for them. And this Crawly will hit for 3 and do more damage. I wonder if the Probe is going to matter. Probe costs 3 life here, which is not insignificant. If they go Dark Ritual Doomsday, they go to 7. I mean, it's not even close to enough. I don't know. These cards, they just don't. I underestimated Scrawling Crawly the first time I saw it, right? For sure. However, I still don't think it's that good. It's really great against Jewel, and it's pretty okay against, like, Time Vault Key. But, like, besides that, I don't know. It kind of feels very similar to how Anemic Bowmaster has always felt to me. I always felt that Bowmaster, when it wasn't killing another Bowmaster, didn't do enough. That's kind of how I feel here. But, like, how much can you really ask from your 3-mana artifact, right? All right, if my opponent has a cantrip here, they do kill us. And this is, again, just exact problem I have. Hell, we even had one of the most powerful draws we really could have with Lotus, Ancestral, turn 1 Ring, but when you don't have the requisite interaction suite, these combo decks are just going to eat you alive. And I guess you could say, oh man, that's just unlucky bad matchups, but I don't know. I don't buy it. There are a lot of combo decks in Vintage. Even if the most dominant decks right now are controlling decks. All right, well, I have 3 Mindbreak Traps and 3 Red Elemental Blasts. This time I'm less... I mean, I'm still taking out Stone Quail Servant, that's for sure. But I'm, like, less interested in taking out Bombardiers this time because I do feel like it's a fast clock. But we don't have to take out as many, so maybe it's fine. I definitely want all my interactive pieces. I would normally just like take out a mountain in these kind of matchups, but I feel like I'm not allowed to do that because I need my red sources. But maybe we are allowed to. Not sure. The amount of mana in this deck is staggering. 23, 27 with the spirit guides. Like it makes sense because you need this full mana suite and to like, you want to play these things on turn one, but it's a lot of mana. You saw it last game where we drew a bajillion cards with our One Ring on turn one, and we just like drew a bunch of lands and died and didn't have any way to beat the just the Time Vault key being placed into play. Yeah. That being said, we very quickly identified natural sequencing inaccuracies after just one set of matches, which really makes you think that, especially for these, what do I say? Especially for these like home brews that have a dedicated pilot. You know, there's a lot of knowledge on how to weigh sequencing, mulliganing, sideboarding that is locked up inside of one person. And just simply being a long-time Magic player, a very strong player, think about the game well, doesn't mean you will immediately recognize these things. Sometimes you have to learn them. So what I'm saying is no deck that I pick up for the first time is going to have its full power unlocked for me right away. Maybe a PO deck would. I mean, this hand has a red elemental blast, but it also has 5 pieces of mana, which I just don't think we're allowed to keep this. And while this hand has no interaction, at least it's like doing something, you know? I'm gonna get rid of this Painter Servant because I want to be able to go turn 1 Scrawly Crawly, turn 2 Broadside Time Walk, and see if we can't just burst our opponent out. If you can't interact with your opponent, you can kill them really fast. So that's my plan here. Though that might be hard to do considering this is a red and this is a blue. All right, Justin, what were you thinking here? I don't know. It's still probably correct to lead Scrawly Crawly. It's going to do the most damage over time, and it will give us opportunities to draw some interaction, maybe. But I guess we're going to have to time walk first. Lost the flip. Chalice on 0. I guess it could be Chalice on 1. Could be Chalice on 2. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Time Walk. And then I think I am going to cast the... I can cast this next turn. I'm going to cast the Painter Servant because the Time Walk resolved. I don't think I'm going to name blue. Because I don't need all the spells I really want to counter are going to be blue. Or most of the spells that are not Doomsday, I'm going to counter are going to be blue. And even Doomsday, you can attack the cantrips anyways. Am I getting Steel Sabotaged? That would be even bouncing Crawley would be pretty bad for me. I mean, that is a godsend. I think that might be the best thing that possibly happened to me. That's so good for me. Because I thought they might bounce Crawley, but Crawley is alive. I lost another flip. Soul Ring. All right, I'm going to play a Soul Ring. I should not have done that. I think I'm going to play... I'm going to play a Chalice on 2. I got forced. All right. I mean, we're coming in for a hefty chunk here. I am going to throw the Soul Ring just to deal as much damage as possible. So that puts him to 4 and then to 3 off the crawler. I think that's probably just lethal, right? They would have to have like another steel. I mean, I think steel sabotaging this Painter Servant was a horrible mistake. Like, it's possible that's the best thing they could have done, and they didn't have other choices, right? I don't know their hand, so I can't say for sure. But I just know that that feels real bad because that card was not doing anything. And this crawler was attacking for lethal real quick. That was good. That one certainly went really well. Now, can I beat Doomsday on the draw? I assume it will involve some... it will probably have to involve a Mind Break Trap and my opponent going all in on something. Okay. Yeah, I mean, double Mind Break Trap, turn 1 Crawly, and then a Red Elemental Blast follow-up. I don't know if it gets much better than this in terms of interaction versus combo. I like what this hand is doing. As long as my Crawly doesn't get, like, dazed. I feel like if my Crawly gets dazed, that would be a huge problem. Because we don't really have a real clock. Can't play broadside off of this workshop. All right, so we have 2 traps to not die. We've got a Crawly attacking the life total. Oh, I got snuffed out. Okay, well, that's bad for me. I will admit. I will admit that is not great for me. It's not over. Demonic Tutor. That's Ancestral. We have Reb. If it's Doomsday, we have Trap. The One Ring. I think I'm going to put off the One Ring for a turn so I can hold up Reb for possible Ancestral, because I really don't want them to resolve an Ancestral. And that's a little anemic, all things considered, but... Alright. If they cantrip here, I might just let them cantrip so that I have just this is my... Are they going to play into this? I don't know. This is should be a very interesting sequence here. My opponent made a pretty quick pile. All right, sure, brainstorm, why not? Somehow I don't feel like they're playing around Mind Break Trap, Red Elemental Blast, but we'll see what happens. Black Lotus, fine. Gush, it's fine. Preordain. So I'm going to lead traps just in case, because they'll be dead if they ever pass the turn here. I also need to have like a Reb for next turn if they play an Oracle on the next turn. All right. So now, and we know they have a land in their hand, right? So we have them to dead to rights with another Reb. Cool. That went really well. Oh, I guess Ancestral was also lethal. Sorry, chat. I missed the Ancestral Lethal. Boom. Gotta play around Mind Break Trap. GG, opponent, GG. Tough spot. All right, we got a nice win against Doomsday, which I expect to be a pretty hard matchup. Let's see what we can do here in round 3. Whoever thought of putting a chocolate coating on a cookie is a genius. What we got here? Yeah, I'm willing. I'm ready. I'm willing. Lurrus Gaming. Probably Lurrus combo. Mold of 6, mold of 5. Which means I'm going to slam a Crawly Bally. Slamming Crawly Bally against Orcish Bowmaster, not very good. Slamming Crawly Bally against Paradoxical Outcome, not bad. I kind of need lands, though. I heard you needed lands, so I gave you a blue card you can never cast. God bless. All right, well, I have a grindstone. Hopefully that's good at some point in this game. Somehow I don't feel like it will be, but hey. Under city sewers. Top. Scrawly. I mean, they're already at 13. Like I said, that is definitely the upside of a Scrawly Crawly. What you got for us? Time Walk. I want to use my red source here and Time Walk them by Pyroblasting it. I think I just need to... Ooh, Strip Mine. I just don't have anything going for me here. Stone Coil Serpent. Yes. God. All right. Well, somehow my deck with all mana is not getting there. But the good news is the Scrawly's attacking. Strip Mine is not a good sign, though, because it might mean there's a Bowmaster coming. And if there's a Bowmaster coming, it means we lose. Yeah, here's a Bowmaster. Not only did I give my opponent a bunch of cards for free, but now they're just destroying us with our own card. I can't draw any mana. I guess I should have cracked the Vexing Bauble in response to the Orcish Bowmaster. I don't know if I really wanted to do that, though. I don't think I want to Pyroblast this Brainstorm. I feel like I'm going to need to get a Bombardier in play. Bombardier is pretty close to lethal. I will need a mana, though. I don't know. I feel like everything went right for us here, and then we're still just screwed. I wonder if he has a Twister. Something we have to consider here. Painter? I don't have any mana for Painter. Alright, I am going to play a 1/1 Stone Coil Serpent. No, it was just Ancestral. At least this is uncounterable. Got him. Okay, well, we did get our basic Strip Mine, so that doesn't help. But we also would only have had 2 mana the entire game and still not been able to cast Time Walk broadside, broadside. And they have a Wasteland. All right, I mean, I'll block. By Lurrus, I assume. Sure. Play a frog. Oh, we're just so dead. All right. Well, this Time Walk resolves, and then if I draw a land and resolve broadside, hold up, wait a minute, because I can't get forced. Though, wait a second. Wait a goddamn second. Is this enough? This is 2. It has Menace and Haste, so they go to 5. And then I throw the Grindstone. Right? I throw the Grindstone. Don't think I'm activating Painter Servant at any point here. So they're going to have to kill this Bombardier. And I have another one that they will have to Wasteland me off. I can't just like play a Lurrus and block because this thing has Menace and it can throw right away after I attack with it. Wait a second. Are we scamming this out? Are we actually getting there? Surely not. This needs to be Swords to Plowshares. Doesn't look like it. Land? All right, we got double. Now they're definitely dead. I'm just so surprised by this win, but I will take it. This is definitely the kind of cards that are going to be good in the matchup. The Scrawly Crawly is unfortunately going to be awful in the matchup. So will this Chalice. I guess we could Chalice on 1. Maybe that's acceptable. What are we even bringing in? We're bringing in Breeds and Rebs and Furies, I guess. Seems reasonable enough. This has to be the matchup where Stone Coil is at least not the worst. I guess we cannot Chalice on 1. We've got 7 Pyroblasts. And then, like, do we want Bobble on the draw just to turn off forces? Is a Braid even good? I guess it's fine. All right, maybe we'll take out Bobble on the draw here. All right, try that. All right, we're going pretty big, pretty over the top. Maybe this will be good against Lurrus. I could see the vision. That's all mana. Try different vision. That's no mana. Is it still worth it? Like, nah, it can't be. All right. Well, I am so feeling a little dead here. Let's get rid of a Braid and Reb. Turn 1, Time Walk. Turn 2, Stock Up, I assume. I'll force it with my red cards. Bam! Well, now, opponent. I got forced back. All right. Doesn't seem good for me, though. If I get wastelanded here, I am very dead. I think I'll still name blue just because I want to be able to kill some things with Reb. Another stock up. Stock up card seems pretty good. Nope, there's a wasteland. Stock up finding wasteland feels really good. I've noticed that a couple times recently, but I feel like that is such a powerful play. It's not easy to make a deck that has wastelands and enough mocks in to make stock up always castable. But the payoff is there. Even just the first strip mine. Mishra's Workshop is by far our best draw here. Should do this after I attack, but I'm very lazy and I want to F6. Oh. Swords to Plowshares. Okay. That was definitely in a lazy sequencing by me. Sorry. Oh, the follow-up Null Rod after I activate my One Ring. Oh, the swords on the guy is going to be good now. That's for sure. I think I am interested in just not taking damage here. Don't feel like I'm going to be activating that anytime soon. Maybe I'm supposed to hold it in play, take a couple of damages a couple times until I can play maybe a broadside to throw it. But I'm not going to be able to cast a broadside anytime soon either. So my deck is probably just very dead here. Maybe Stonecoil Serpent? I don't know. That's my opponent just... I guess they brainstorm lock themselves here, but still not very good for me. Oh, no. They shuffled away. Wait, couldn't they have done that on their turn to get another land? Maybe they wanted to hold open swords for like broadside or something. Put Lurrus in hand. I feel like I'm in trouble. I think I might have lost this game even if I had been able to activate my ring again. I had a lot of mana. All right, Lurrus, return Soul Guide Lantern. No, hold up swords. That's not good. That is not good. A braid. All right. I mean, I can abrade the Snull Rod. It's gotta be better. Waiting doesn't help me to play around negation because they can just hard cast negation. So better just to fire it out and make them have it. They had it. Force pitch Spell Pierce. I could pay that Spell Pierce. That's pretty funny. 3 cards in my opponent's hand. Soul Guide Lantern. So no hard cast force. Nice. Another braid is what I need. Painter's Servant. Okay. Oh, I should have used my Mishra's Workshop mana here. That's fine. Sorry about that. That way I could at least represent that I had a Fire Blast, but... Fatal Push as well. It's a lot of removal. All right, only 4 more attacks with this lifelinker. All right, I'm off it. Game 3. Let's bring back in Vexing Bauble, but I don't think I want to bring back in Chalice. And then I'm going to take out... Mana Crypt, maybe? I can't imagine. Like, I just need to be able to do these things. Cast these CADs. I have no idea what I'm supposed to take out here. Maybe a Painter Servant. Feels like kind of bad, but... Maybe the answer is a Grind... the answer is probably Painter Servant. They have all that removal, too. All right, what do we got? We've got Mox. Okay, mulligan. Yeah. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can still cast my ring. All right, force check. I guess it could also be a null rod check, to be fair. All right, got a ring. See if we get null rotted. Bowmaster. Oh, we got turn 1 null rotted. Great. I can kill this null rod right away. Just kidding. I can't. Sorry, my bad. I have a Mishra's Workshop. It doesn't make mana. I tried. We have a lot of I just keep getting my basic strip bind. Sag. Alright, we're super dead again. This deck just folds to a null rod completely. I guess. Strip mine wasteland. I have no mana. Well. Maybe we can hit another mountain and get a broadside going, get a parade going. It's possible. The possibility. I mean, even a Simmon Spirit Guide here lets us at least do something. Mox Ruby, though. That one does not work. Ugh, I don't know. I do not like playing these decks. I feel like my opponent has all the tools to beat me, and I just have to hope. It's a bad feeling. Just want to have some amount of agency. It always feels like I don't have any. Which is not exactly true. I mean, we have draw spells and we have interaction. It's just... I'm gonna have to wait until this Lurrus comes into play to remove these with a Fury, which is pretty scary, but... Especially if they have the land for it, too. Brainstorm. There's a cat. I don't feel like this Fury is resolving, but if it resolves, it buys us a little bit of time. Yeah, I don't know. Our deck just doesn't produce any mana, so... Alright. Yep, I mean, my opponent played a Null Rod, and we were unable to play the game after. Technically, we had answers to the Null Rod with the Raid, but we just, like, couldn't cast them because we were Null Rodded. Again, it does not help that our basic mountain got strip mined. I guess that is the worst piece of variance there, but is what it is. All right, we're back at it. 2 more rounds of Magic the Gathering. I'm definitely keeping this hand. Slam that ring. One thing I've been a little sad about so far is I feel like slamming the ring has not been very good. I don't know if it's just like the cards that are in our deck are just like not good to draw. It kind of makes me feel like that. But I don't know. When I can slam a ring and then draw a Force of Will, I feel a lot better, right? Then I have some interaction. I can make to the next turn. I can draw more cards. But when I just slam a ring and it doesn't do anything, it feels like, why'd I go through all this effort? Flash Raker. I don't have the ability to abrade this right away, which I guess is a huge problem. I assume playing a ring is better than playing a crawler here. But if my opponent goes like top, I die. So maybe just playing a crawler is better. I am going to play the crawler, though, off of my... I guess I'll have a Soul Ring next turn, so I don't actually need to play it off of an Ancient Tomb. Ugh. Yeah, I think a crawler makes more sense here because I think there's a pretty high likelihood I die. I'd love to have abraded this on turn 1, but I just did not have any Simian Spirit Guide or any Moxen. I definitely would have gone for the abrade on this. It feels like the best play we could have done from out of our 3 choices if we could. Patchwork could be a problem. Gotta be very mindful of our life total as well. I assume they're gonna play their whole hand out, right? Two patchworks. Well, that certainly makes my crawler less good. Three cards in my opponent's hand and a soul ring. Yeah. I mean, so far, it does look like I would have been better off with a ring. Hard to make that judgment. Final card is a ring. All right. Well, I mean, the good news is this ring will block the patchworks for a turn, so maybe I am okay in this area here. Are they gonna draw a card? I feel like they should still draw a card. Yeah. No. Hmm. I mean, I have the abrade for this, so I feel like I just take it. Scrawly is really good in the pseudo mirror here, so we'll see how that gets us. Oh my god, no. Yeah, this is a good reason not to trade the Crawley, because my opponent's about to draw a bajillion more cards. I guess this ring will buy us some time. But will it be enough? Our opponent is clearly doing a more powerful thing than us. We're gonna have a ring for every turn for the rest of the game, probably. Oh. Yeah, I guess they can natty draw the Vault Key as well. Now we can't kill the Flesh Raker, which is what I wanted to do. Painter Grindstone. Is that a win from here? Yeah, if you can activate it on upkeep, it'd be a win from here. So this turn, we definitely need to play a One Ring. I think that the One Ring will give us protection so that we won't die to the drone for a turn. So we will go after we will have to go after the Time Vault Key. I don't want to draw a red source. Let's go with the One Ring. I held up the blue here in case, and activated in response in case I drew Ancestral. Broadside, it does not have a free attack here to kill a Flesh Raker, so I think the answer here is we need to pass the turn. Hold open this abrade. See where life takes us. Also, if they take infinite turns, I guess we have protection forever. So they have to find a phase out for this Crawley. And then they still have to pass the turn, right? So maybe we're supposed to let them take infinite turns. I probably don't want to. Probably don't want to. What is that? It was so loud. Holy moly. All right, so we can't die right now, right? To this deck. And they're at 9? So, like, how do we lose? Phasing out, they still have to pass the turn to us, right? So, what is their plan? I feel like they're gonna die before. Is Scrawly Crawly just that broken in these kind of matchups? It's pretty wild to me. Because this goes through the ring. They're gonna hold up double activate to play around the abrade. Should I still hit him with the abrade? Because if they use their turns here, I think I'm supposed to. They want to... Oh, they're just going to let it happen. Okay. I mean, we have to find another ring. Or Painter would do it. Grindstone would do it. Pyroblast. Time Walk. We are very close here. Bombardier throwing a ring is 6 damage. Wow. So I definitely want to play a Painter Servant. Oh, Painter Servant turns off Flush Raker. That's kind of cool. Did I miss any Painter Servant in the beginning because of this Flush Raker? I might have. I'd have to go back and look. So I'm going to make blue and Time Walk. They're also going to lose another life from the Crawler and then on their turn, so I think we actually have a win now. Because the Crawler will deal them an extra damage. We're kind of lucky they didn't draw their own Crawler. I also drew a new ring. Okay, so yeah, now we have lethal. Wow, that's so cool. Wow, what a crazy win. We got another chance for an ancestral win. Wow. Man. That was pretty cool. I did not see that coming. All right. Well, we have Hercule's Recall, Mindbreak Trap, and Abrade, and Fury. Those seem like good cards in. I actually think I don't want to do, like, killing things with Painter Servant. Though, I guess Stone Coil probably just sucks, because it just gets outsized. Is Chalice and Bauble good? I feel like on the draw, they're actually just pretty bad in the matchup. So we can keep in some number of Pyroblasts. Misstep is great. So let's do this. We'll take Chalice and Bauble out on the draw. Take Stone Coils and some Blasts out for actual factual removal. And then Crawler is clearly great. Bombardier looks very good. Okay, maybe we're favored up in this spot. We have a little bit more going on than our opponent, but I think we got a little lucky to win that game. I don't even think I played super well. I think I had some optimizations we could have made. Don't know if there was any opportunity to play a Painter to turn off the Flesh Raker in the beginning of the game. Could I have played Painter on turn 1 in that game? I kind of want to look. No. No, okay. I was wondering, because if I played Painter on turn 1 there, it might have been really good. I mean, this seems great, right? We just saw how good Crawler was. Can't imagine I'm supposed to mulligan it. That we don't have like our Mind Break trap or anything. Whoa. Activate. Interesting. I don't know what that means exactly. I do know I got Workshop and I got Crawler. Next turn I can play Painter Ring. Kind of like this. This looks like a pretty reasonable matchup. Out of all the matchups we played today, this one feels like it would be the best. Feel like Tinker PO is bad, Doomsday is bad, Esper Control is maybe not great. Bowmaster is so good against Crawler. Hey, wait, where'd our guy go? Got dismembered. Ah. Our guy's gone. I think this turn I'm still going to use my full 6 mana to play Painter Ring. Because the Painter actually does something in this matchup is kind of interesting. All right, what we got? Second Workshop from the opponent as well. Third Workshop for Justin. It's the sign of a strong Artificer. All right. Painter Servant. Blue. But now we don't have to worry about Flesh Raker stuff killing us. And we have an active ring. We technically have a way to remove a Null Rod if my opponent boards into Null Rod, which they have tops in play, so I kind of doubt it. But, and then next turn we can deploy even more artifacts. Seems like a very convincing spot. They're doing a lot of top drawing. Here's an Ancient Tomb. They're going to be pretty sad if they want to do any kind of flush raking. Flush raking requires color spells, and all the spells are blue. Here's a Flesh Raker. It's kind of sweet. Tangle Wire. Woo! Okay. I didn't see that coming. All right, everything's going to get tapped anyways. Active player, non-active player. So we'll take an additional damage, but we'll definitely draw the cards. And we'll take the damage, but we still have a third Workshop coming. The question is, do I want a Scrawly Wally or do I want another Servant to make sure I don't lose to like a Dismember? I think a Servant is better. We're going to be drawing cards, drawing cards on our opponent. This thing actually blocks too. All right. I actually think we're in a pretty great spot here. I did not expect a Tangle Wire. It's interesting. Okay. They have a Sensei's Top, but it doesn't actually combo with the Flesh Raker anymore. I guess they kind of do the same thing, Crawler and Painter Servant, but if my opponent went Time Vault Key, then Scrawler would be better. Okay, look here, Dismember. They'd have to have 2 Dismembers now. A 3rd Dismember, I should say. Oh, wow. They had a Dismember and a Phase Out and a top, so they just need another top on top, and they win? I have a Mind Break Trap, I guess. So they don't win. But I almost F6 through my Mind Break Trap, man. I mean, Dismember Talon Gates, sure, yeah. It's a banger. I do have it covered, actually, which is pretty interesting. Seems like they didn't find it, considering they're not going right away. We've just drawn so many cards this game. All right, they found something. What'd they find? Mox. Sure. I'm going to hold this Mind Trap as extra insurance, but I don't think my opponent's going to have enough removal to ever get rid of a Painter Servant ever again anyways, so... I think this means the game is locked up. That was like my opponent's window there. Definitely would rather have cards than not have cards. Wow. Those are not great. This time it's a Crawly for sure. Though I guess it doesn't block very well. But I kind of want to threaten my opponent's life total at some point here. This Hercules Recall looks terrible. So let's get rid of this Hercules Recall. And let's get rid of... I feel like I'm never going to be able to Mind Break Trap anything from now on, so... Let's get rid of the Mind Break Trap. I mean, even if I can, I have another Mind Break Trap, right? So... It's okay. Alright, so the opponent is drawing a Sensei's Top. We've got a Crawly. I mean, we do have a 1 ring ticking down a little bit here, but they're at 10. At some point, we're going to clock them out here. If we draw a red source at any point, we can broadside bombardier them. Somehow, even after drawing like 6 more cards on our opponent, we still have a kind of a shaky mana situation, which is just lovely. Saga Gaming. All right, I think it makes more sense to just tap my 2 creatures. Take my 3 damage. Draw our cards. There's my red source. Or my blue source. More cards. There's no... Okay, here we go. Now we are cooking. All right, I think they're just dead to this. Another ancestral kill, it looks like. Yeah. I feel like we should take another ancestral kill while we have it. Bam! That was a crazy matchup. That one looked like by far one of our best matchups so far today, and woof. Deck looks sweet in that one. All right, here we go. Fifth and final round. Trying to fight my way to a quick little 3-2. Okay. 3-2 would not be too bad. I'm down for this. Another non-Lurrus player. I'm going to deploy this Painter's Servant. I think I am priced into naming blue, sadly. I'm going to hold the Sphere Guide as a red source. I think it's more important than trying to jam a second crawler. See what opponent has for us here. Honestly, so far, I mean, I'll save a lot of it for the wrap up, but so far I haven't been too upset with this deck. I think I like some of what's going on here. And clearly doing some powerful things. Opponent is in the tank on their turn 1 after a Mold of 6 and no Lurrus reveal. If they are on Raker, our hand is unreal in the mirror here, pseudo mirror. Oh, is it another Raker? Are we gonna farm some more Raker? Or is it, I mean, even Jewel, our hand is not terrible versus. Fixing Bobble. Crawly Bolly, all right. We can't currently kill their Crawl Ball without a thingy, but we have another one. Okay. I am going to see if my opponent wants to trade this Scrawling Crawler, because I have 2 more. They do. All right. That's good news for me. So I have to play another one. I'm going to play both of them this time. If it's that good, I'm down. I think it's just a better use of our mana than playing a ring. It also breaks the symmetry again, so that I'm not taking any issues. They're not drawing more cards on their turn coming up here. So I feel like it's quite good for us. Now, this doesn't mean that they're on Raker Shops, because I know that Loriwa has been playing Scrawly Crawlies in the Golos deck as well, which feels pretty weird. But my opponent is named Golos Tireless Skier, so Lodestone Strip Mine. Okay. Strip Mine not going to be super effective here against drawing 3 cards every turn. But it might prevent us from... Oh, no, that's pretty crazy. All right, well, that wins the game, doesn't it? As these are both uncounterable. Oh, it doesn't win the game because this is... Okay, we need to have 1 more mana. It's fine. I'm sure we'll draw 1 more mana on our next turn here. I'm not even going to attack. They've got the Bobble locked down as well, so... All right, there we go. Let's do it. Show me your secrets. Woo! That's our first time with Grindstone in the whole league. All right, so it is Golos. Opponent did not concede fast enough. So it is Golos. Okay, so Scrawly Crawly with Golos. Obviously, we did not need to paint a Grindstone to win that game, but I thought it was like the most information. Obviously, we could have hit him with a nice little braid here. Attack for 7, and then they die on the next turn as well. But it's kind of cool. I guess this means they're more likely to bring in null rods, though, so maybe it's a bad sign. But right, so I like Braid, and I like Fury, and I like Hercules, and I like. I don't think I want more Rebs. And I don't think I want traps even on the draw. Chalice can go. Vexing Bauble can go. I don't mind Stone Coil very much because I kind of want to have an attacker. And I like Painter's Servant Grindstone. I don't think we need 2 Grindstones here for sure. And I think Painter's Servant Pyro still has got its uses. Maybe 1 Pyroblast goes. I'm not sure. I'm definitely not an expert on like how much combo should I trim, how many Rebs should I keep in that only work that only work when the opponent has when I have a Painter Servant. Like I actually think Painter Servant I think Painter Servant Reb Pyroblast is quite good in the matchup when you have it, but is it worth including is a harder point to make. Don't know. All right. I'm going to keep this hand, though. Got a bunch of mana, have some solid cards. Obviously, the Pyroblast is dead, which is part of the problem, right? But if we draw Painter, it's really good, so... Also, it's more ways to kill a Null Rod. Wow, my opponent has a jillion mana. I guess I should have had that Mindbreak Trap in, huh? A huge Stone Coil Serpent. Okay, that's not a big deal. Not a big deal. All right. I think I'm interested in taking the Time Walk turn now while I still have the ability to deploy anything I want. Okay, well. It's likely we're going to take a nice shot to the face here. I'm not throwing away any of my mana right now. Maybe I could throw away the Pearl. I could see that. But then if I throw away the Pearl, then I don't have the ability to hold up in this Hercules, which I kind of want to be able to hold up in. Don't exactly know what I want it for, but... Maybe a attack for a bajillion. We think they would equip? Okay, well, now this Hercules looks great. My opponent will be able to replay things, though. Oh, they're going to tap. Okay. I mean, this means they get to do the full replay on their stuff. It's all their cards. I think I don't want to take 13, so I am going to Hercules you. They get to replay their things and probably play either a Nettle Cyst or a 4/4 Stone Coil. Probably just a Nettle Cyst. Yeah, this Pyroblast is looking real weak. Maybe it should have just been Mindbreak Trap. Would have been a really easy game with a Mindbreak Trap. So... Scrawly Crawly. Unfortunately, I'd love to be able to... I guess throwing and killing a Germ here is not very good. I can't kill a Germ, but if I could... Is it even that good? I'm going to play a Scrawly Crawly, and then I am going to throw the Pearl. And then we have to try to tempo our opponent out here a little bit. All right, 10. They have a Mana Crypt. Yeah, this Pyroblast is a liability, which is kind of why I wanted to not have it. But I mean, even if we play game 3, I guess we get to bring in we can bring Grindstone and Bauble and Chalice back in on the play, so we can take them all out. Are they going to go for one big hit here? Or are they going to go... Okay. It's kind of interesting. Maybe they'll... Oh, they're still going to play a Serpent. Okay. Because the Serpent has Trample. So if I take 12 here and they double equip... All right, we're going to do some math. If I take 12 and go to 8 and they double equip, it's an 18, 18. And I can hit them for... They can take 1 off of Crawler, 2 off of Bombardier, 3 off of Solar Ring, or an additional 2, 5. It doesn't really get better for me if I block with this Crawler, right? I mean, I can hit them for another 5. I don't die. I actually think it actually is good to block. It's kind of awkward. I think if I block here, I might have chances of racing this. Because I have this... Ugh, what a terrible draw. Alright, so I hit them for another 4 total. And they have a Mana Crypt. They can't kill me right now. Oh, I guess they kill me if they draw an artifact. But I think that's okay. This was almost a race that we won. Yeah, I like this play. They have to draw an artifact here. If they draw an artifact, they kill me. But if they don't, then I win. I have to actually... Artifact or Saga. I feel like that's a pretty good race. I got nothing. I got 2 blanks. But this Bombardier does a lot of damage. Now they drew the artifacts. So I take 20 and die. Alright. Sad. I think I made the right play. I would have drawn 1 extra card. It would have been... We don't know. Damn. I don't know. What do you think, chat? Was that a right play? Going for the race there? They have a lot of artifacts in their deck, but any land there would have been a win for us. I don't know. I guess if like we draw a ring or something, it's super good. Maybe we're just supposed to get the extra crawler draw. I'm just worried that it's more likely that they don't draw an artifact than we draw a card that does something, right? Because it's not like I'm getting in an extra 3 damage with our crawler. I get an extra 1 damage in. I'm not sure. Either way, I think that game was kind of lost because we had Pyroblast instead of Mindbreak Traps in our deck. I'm going to bring the Grindstone and the Vexing Bauble and the Chalice back in. Yeah. I don't know. I have a sneaking suspicion that you're supposed to leave in some amount of Pyroblast and you accept that sometimes it's dead, but... Alright. I got a Crawly. Black Lotus, man. My opponent has had some stronger ones here. Is it a Golos? Yeah. Saga, I assume. Yeah. We do have a big Stonecoil Serpent this time, though. Painter Servant. Crawly. I think I would rather be looking to combo. So I'm going to go second Crawly and Painter over a 7/7 Stonecoil. We have like really good tools and we really want to find a blue source. So think it makes sense. I wonder if I played that last game badly. Maybe I could have gone for the other route. I don't know. Close, I feel. They do have the null rod. Wow. Okay, so now we're 2 lands away from casting our Hercules or our Time Walk. I guess that is a downside. Oh, I guess we're 1 land away. We have to find exactly a fetch land or a Volk, but okay, we found it. So do I want to Time Walk? No, I want to Hercules them. I think they die. Or it's close. This is kind of wild. They had to use the Ancient Tomb, so they're going to die to this. This is blue Spirit Guide, Hercules my opponent. And then they die to Scrawling Crawler. Wow. Okay, so 3-2, money back. I'm pretty happy about that. This deck fared really well against workshops and even the matches we lost were pretty close, 3-game sets, and some of them we probably could have won if I had identified the strengths and weaknesses a little earlier. I don't mind this deck. This is probably the best looking Nico list I've seen yet. Much love, Nico. I don't like these Stonecoil Serpents. I don't think they do what you want them to do. I would rather these Stonecoil Serpents be... I don't know the answer. Painter Servant, Grindstone, Pyroblast, Spirit Guide. I mean... I really like that you have a pseudo interaction suite. I mean, it is an interaction suite, but it's like a pseudo blue suite in that you have some ways to play on turn 0. You actually have some ways of not just dying to the, I mean, we played against Tinker and Doomsday the first 2 rounds, and those matches were hard. They were still very hard, but at least we had something going for us, right? I think the Broadside and Scrawly Crawlers were impressive as the 3 drops. I was pretty happy with both of those, especially the Crawler. The Crawler seems like it dominates these workshop-based matchups, which is very interesting. And even has very good game against, or very, it has not very good game, but it has some game against these combo decks as well. So the Scrawly Crawly was great. The Painter Servant combo with Grindstone was whatever. It's more threatening than anything. I feel like Painter Servant at its best here was turning off a Glaring Fleshraker. The mana is so sus. Like, I like and appreciate this Time Walk Ancestral Splash. Hell, you could even put a Tinker in here if you really wanted to, and Tinker goes for Grindstone and Painter Servant. You could make a Tinker Citadel. You could make it Vault Key. One of the biggest problems I have building Painter decks, and I've built a lot of Painter decks on this point on the channel, is there are so many things you want, but you can only include so many things in your deck. And then once you start including too many things, like you can't make blue card, you can't make Forcible work, right? So that's why it's kind of nice to have the Simian Spirit Guide Pyroblast combination gaming. I still think that, I mean, I kind of understand where and what you want and what your Serpent does. I just don't think it's good enough. I would rather these Serpents be something else. Don't know what that something else is, but the One Ring was not as good as I hoped it would be. But that might have just been like the draws we had. I had some really good games, and I had some of the games where I was like, oh, cool, I resolved a One Ring, and then it just wasn't very good. We have one Abrade answering Null Rod, and then 3 post board. And I always had all the Abrades in when I did get Null Rodded, but the mana just is really rough. Like, you need to find a red source, which are pretty light, and then you would need to find a non-artifact source, which are pretty light. It's tough to resolve an Abrade through a Null Rod. The answer might be more along the lines of Ingot Chewer or Shattering Spree or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you just don't care about Null Rod. It's like some games I'm sure you can actually play through a Null Rod no problem, right? And we actually had some games where we were close to playing through a Null Rod, but didn't actually work out. Can't comment on the Dredge hate. We did not play against Dredge. 7 blasts seems fine. I'm okay with that. Our Hurkyl's Recalls came in handy here. We did play against multiple Shops opponents. I would like to have another Fury probably in my board. Maybe instead of the 7th Red Blast, that 2nd Fury would have been nice. We didn't play against any mono white, but there's a lot of mono white running around on Magic Online, though I think it's finally dying down. I think people saw the results and were like, oh, this is still a 45% win rate deck. That's not good. And are no longer registering it to the same degree. So, all right. Yeah, I think that's the end of this league. Definitely a non-Force of Will deck with a little bit more interaction than normal, which made me very happy gamer. Congrats, of course, to Nico in Tokyo for his top 4 finish in the God of Vintage tournament, 27th God of Vintage tournament. Those are cool events. I'd love to play in one someday. We'll see. For now, more content on this YouTube channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe so I can see you then.